So Elon Musk has banned Kanye West from Twitter after he defended Hitler on InfoWars. Now, I'm not gonna defend Kanye for defending Hitler, but what you need to understand is that our world is controlled by the neoliberal globalists, and fascism is the foundation of globalism. So, as people these days communicate online, Twitter has become the public square, and what the globalists have been able to do is take the public square and censor what we can and cannot say in it. And if you dissent from the status quo of neoliberal globalism, you will be called a fascist, when in actuality, the globalists are the real fascists. So that's why they censor people on Twitter. So here we have Jackson Hinkle and Haas the Infrared Show to talk about this dynamic. So let's take a look at that.
The question that really got a lot of attention today was the question that was posed to Kanye about the alleged, anti-Semitism, about Hitler, about Nazis. And, my understanding, and I want you to expound upon this, but my understanding was Ye was attempting to take the path of, that he's taken on many such occasions and saying, I'm a Christian. As a Christian, I'm supposed to love everyone. That's kind of his mentality. We've seen that on multiple occasions. But when posed next to the question of Hitler and the Nazis, obviously it's just cringe. I don't know. I personally think it's cringe. And it became like a really big thing. And I also feel like it was just him being a bit of a contrarian. If you know anything about Nazism is the foundation of globalism, which is something that I and the American public, I think, all don't love. But I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinions on this.
Yeah, I don't think it's that surprising coming from Kanye. I think if anything, it reveals just a long known fact. When you think about it, it is the most taboo thing you could say, that being pro-Hitler or being pro-Nazis. And that isn't necessarily because of anything about Nazis and Hitler, because Nazis and Hitler, their legacy is in Ukraine, and we support Ukraine. We support the Ukrainian neo-Nazis. We support the Azov Battalion. So we're not really that upset about the actual legacy of Nazism. What our societies are rather more interested in doing is dismissing and labeling every form of dissent against our so-called liberal democracy as a form of fascism and as a form of Nazism. Both you and I have been called Nazis. Both you and I have been called fascists. And shockingly, you wouldn't believe it, but both you and I have actually been compared to Hitler, okay? And obviously that happened to him, and his way of processing all of that was just to outright say, I'm not against Hitler and I'm not against Nazis.
And all these people who are feigning outrage over Kanye West, who literally last week were in tears defending to people like us why we should be sending $80 billion to Nazis in Ukraine. The inheritors of the ideology of I almost said Vladimir Zelensky, of Adolf Hitler and Stefan Bandera.
So as Infrared said in that clip, we're not defending what Kanye said, but people who dissent from the neoliberal globalist status quo, they get labeled Nazis. And that's the same reason why they wanted to smear Jimmy Dore as being a Nazi after he interviewed one of the Boogler boys. And the same people who lied to you about Russiagate, the same people who lied to you about Syria, who are doing this, calling people Nazis and calling for this sort of authoritarianism. They're the people who are pushing for a whole bunch of wars, proxy wars around the world. Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, but there are a whole bunch of different wars going on in Ukraine and in Syria and a whole bunch of different places I can't name. But they want to censor what you can and can't say on Twitter, on the internet, and they want to force vaccines into your body. That's fascism. That's what the globalists want to do. And you know how these people are not sincere when they talk about fighting fascism, because they're the same people who want to fund Azov Battalion neo-Nazis in Ukraine. So the people need to realize that the globalists are the ones with the power, and that Elon Musk is siding with the globalists by kicking Kanye West off Twitter. No, people shouldn't be censored off of Twitter, off of social media company platforms. Anyway, there you have it.